Depression, Part 3. War, by Stefan Molyneux of Freedomain Radio. The current and future evils of the world need you to remain inert. The future world of exploitation, degradation, and terror wants you to give up. Will you? You do not have a choice in this matter. If you have been brushed by a deep love of truth, you will never be happy or satisfied with lies. It is you and me, or them. It cannot be both. This primitive planet of human livestock farming and wars and genocides and kidnappings and imprisonment is fighting with the light of reason, the glory and peace of the future. The only way that our brutal collective past will own our common future is if your personal past owns your future. To save the world from the pettiness and viciousness of evil, we must grow to an unimaginably authentic stature. To save the world from war, we must be larger than war, larger than lies, larger than error, larger than fear, larger than manipulation, larger than disapproval, larger than scorn, larger than hatred. To save ourselves from depression, we must be larger than our own histories, larger than those who did us wrong, larger than the petty constrictions of tiny-minded nobodies. We must be as large and as powerful as the truth itself. Depression is surrender to evil. A gray life is a white flag. And you have the right to surrender to evil, of course, but you need to know that you will never be happy if you do, and that you do not surrender alone. If you surrender to evil, if you surrender to despair or rage or hatred or depression, it is not you alone who shall slide into the prison of our darkest histories. If you go down, you take the future with you. There are those ahead of us, recently born and yet to be born, and to save ourselves from the misery of defeat and the impotent rage of an unnecessary surrender, we need to think of those who will come after us. What kind of world will we bring into being for them? You can surrender, and it will only cost you your own happiness, and those who fight reason will sink into misery with you. But we cannot blame those who are still to come, the unborn, the innocent, the helpless and needy. If you do not love the world, and so wish to surrender the future to evil, can you not find it possible to love those who are to come and defend their future innocence from the predations of those who rule in the present? I understand that the world is hateful, but that is only the world that is, not the world that is to be, that will be, that we will make when we overcome our paralysis and fear and anger and depression. There is no greater nobility than to stand upon the ramparts and throw back the surging tide of evil with only will and words. Every man and woman who joins us on the ramparts adds immeasurable strength to the light and power of our language. I make this speech to you because you are needed. The few of us who stand before this black tide cannot stand alone. Nature and circumstances have equipped you with a very bright and very sharp sword. If you let it rust in its scabbard, muttering and cursing the world, your soul will rust with it. But if you stand with us, to carve and slash wild streaks of sunlight through this dark and descending murk, I can promise you a life of vigor and courage and fear and thrill and deep, deep pride. There is no better way to spend the strength of your soul than in fighting for the glory, reason, and peace of a better world to come. You are a born warrior, and that is why you have been opposed from the beginning. It is not a fight we chose. It is a fight that chose us. You either use your sword against evil, or evil uses it against you. So, rise up from bitterness, from helpless anger, from resentment, from impotence, from mere study. Rise up, draw your bright sword, and stand with us. If we fall because you did not rise, we have not lost to evil, but because of you. If you stand with us, we cannot fall. We cannot fail. The fog of evil is only the fears of the virtuous. Drop your smaller self and arise.